Welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Thursday. And here we go again. Yes, I don't know. Are we liberated? I don't know. Dow, big gains yesterday, up almost 3,000 points. And gold, I warned you. I warned you, and I warned you, and I warned you, and I warned you. Well, it's not even a warning.
Informing.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at this, by the way. Stock's still not cheap, by the way. Dow is down big today as, like every day, right? We got more news on tariffs and how big it is. Apparently, not everybody got a break yesterday. Mexico, Canada, China, the EU, they didn't count. Okay, so I think that was part of the confusion. We did know China's tariffs went up. Apparently, listen, I don't know. They make it up as they go. They told us 125% yesterday. That was wrong. 145% effective immediately. So Mexico, Canada stayed the same. 25% on anything that isn't USMCA, which is 50% of the stuff from Mexico is going to get hit at 50 or at 25%. The other one, whatever the old agreement was, so I don't know. Right? And I'm not going to look. Canada, you're going to be looking at about 62% of the stuff at the 25%, and then the other, whatever the old agreement was. The EU, 25%. And then China at 145%. So I know that some of the places, right, maybe I can ship it, I don't know, ship it to India and then ship it to the U.S. Like Apple's kind of saying, hey, maybe that's what we'll do, to pay less tariffs. I mean, it was probably good for Nike and good for the chips, right? Taiwan, they're only at 10%. And, again, there's all kinds of stories out there as to why. Why did it go away? First, they went with, this was the plan all along, right? We really got you there. It wasn't. I think the plan all along was eventually to get to this probably a 10% or maybe a 20%. I don't know. After, kiss the ring, bend the knee, right? All of that stuff had to happen, and we'll buy this or that. But it really was all about the bond. Listen, the bond market was going to break. I warned you yesterday. I keep saying warning. I informed you yesterday what was going to happen. I think the Federal Reserve probably today would have had to have stepped in, and it would have been trillions. And so that was really the big reason for it. They had admitted it as best they could. This morning, they had Hassett out. He's like the head of the Economic Council. And he went as far as saying, we did it maybe a little bit because of the bond market. But then Donald Trump came out, and according to the Wall Street Journal, Trump acknowledged that, hey, I was going to be okay with a recession. And there was thought of that, right? Hey, because this was kind of really ballsy. We were probably going to get a recession. I think we're still going to get the recession. But he didn't want to cause a depression. And this was what was going to happen. We were that close. I don't think any of us knew how close we actually were. There's a big auction today. Let's keep our fingers crossed. We know that there are major hedge funds that are in deep, deep trouble when it comes to the Treasury markets. So we'll have to wait and see. This auction, I think, will give us an indication of what is to come. But Donald Trump was willing to accept pain, Jason, but when it looked like it was going to be depression time, that's when they decided to pull back from these numbers. Remember, Amazon started canceling orders yesterday all over the board. I know that those, Temu, and there's another Shine or Sheen. I don't know what it's called. I don't use that kind of stuff. They were getting hit. They were canceling orders. So, Jason, I think I'll say this. I think it was the right idea, or I think he did the right thing. I've been saying all along, the way they've been doing these tariffs, I don't think is right. But today now, with the 145% on China, I think this is, Jason, we're kind of right back where we were, because what did I say yesterday? The three biggest trading partners we have, Mexico, Canada, China. By the way, if you take the whole EU, that's the top four, right? Those are the top four. So these other ones, not that Japan and Taiwan and Vietnam aren't important, but the major tariffs still at work here. By the way, we've got a new all-time record high in gold. Get ready for that a lot this year. 800-951-0592, and everything moves quickly. I've already got an update here. The EU is going to suspend their retaliatory tariffs. In exchange, they'll get 10% on most stuff. Steel and aluminum and some others will stay into effect, but the EU getting somewhat of a break with the tariffs, as they had announced that they will delay the retaliation that they were going to be putting on in light of the announcement from Trump about going to 10%. So a little more good news, I guess, for some of the tariffs. The most important tariffs on Europe are going to stay into effect. And then, of course, the supersized tariffs on China now, 145%. Instead of the 125%. Now we got to wait. Is China going to answer? So far, I know it's already got to review it all the time. Okay, so China took the first 20%, right? We hit them at 10. They did nothing. We hit them at 20. They did nothing. Then we hit them. We jumped it to, added 34% to 54. China matched the 34. Then we added 50 to make it 104. China matched the 50 to put us at 84. Now we've gone to 145, so that's another 40. We'll have to wait to see if China goes and adds another 40 to theirs. By the way, this puts big pressure, obviously, Amazon. I did not know. I should have known. There's a lot of Amazon sellers in China. So the tariffs are affecting Amazon in both directions, right? The stuff coming here, the stuff over in China. Really quickly, a quick look at the markets. The Dow is down 1,200 points. Now, it was up 2,900 points yesterday after that news broke. So far, not quite half of it given back. 39,000 and change. The S&P is down 180. Make it 185. The NASDAQ is down 686. The 10-year note we will watch. So remember yesterday, it broke 4.5, was at about 445 when that news broke. Right now we are at 434 and change, almost 435. We'll see. We've got another big auction today. We'll see how that participation comes in. I'm sure it's going to be, I don't know about China doing it, but I'm sure these other countries are going to step in. But it's all about these hedge funds. Crude oil down $2.50. So crude oil shot up yesterday. Now has come back because we've gotten more clarification today. Gold's up $100 again on TV gold, spot gold. I don't know yet. I'll have to get back to you on spot. Right now, I'll take a really accurate guess here. It looks like 31.65 on spot gold. Jason, if you can get it, let me know. TV gold right now, 31.75, up $96, a new all-time record high.
Got gold up 81.10. It's 31.64 record high, and silver.
Okay, so I was close. I said 31.65. I'll take it. 30.
Well, how about 31.64 and 19 cents? So you're off by 81 cents. I mean, come on, what's 81 cents when gold is 3,100? And then you got 13 cents up on silver. So silver, which was kind of flat yesterday, it's got a little of a tick upwards. It's over $31. I mean, I'll have to admit it was a little head scratching when silver was trying to breach into the $28 and $29 category because of late last week. Gold going below 3,000. It's like, wow, is this real? Is this real? Is this real? And well, I guess if you want to buy the dips, don't buy the market dips. Buy the gold dips because the gold dips don't last very long, Joe.
Well, and again, we informed you. Not warned you, informed you exactly what it is that you're going to be needing to do here. Diversification is going to continue to be the key. I think up next, so that this tariff thing's not going away. We still have to wait to see what the Chinese are going to do. I have no inside knowledge. I don't know. The Xi Jinping does not call me. But so far, China has played it the same way. We were willing to accept 20%, and anything over that we're going to match. And maybe they'll let this one slide and saying, okay, if we don't match, maybe next week Donald Trump will bring it back down. I don't know. If I was China at this point, I would probably be like, okay, why not? We'll play the Trump game here. I don't know that they will. They haven't so far, and if they don't, tomorrow's going to be another ugly, ugly day. And I will say it again. I think he did the right thing by getting these tariffs lowered. I think he should have done it everywhere. I think he should have done it with China, but he's obviously not going to do any of those things. Right, wrong, or indifferent, Jason. I think he said it right this morning. I'm trying to avoid the depression. That's what we were heading into. And again, I look at gold today. I knew yesterday, okay, right, it didn't matter. The Dow was down and gold was still rallying. Look at today now. The Dow's down 1,200 points. Gold's up $100 more here. Everybody's running for cover. It's the plumbing of the markets. This is a debt market, and when you talk about the treasury market, there's no bigger debt market than that. And, Jason, the plumbing is very precarious here. There's a lot of trouble. Could we see hedge funds go under? I think we would have saw that this morning. The only reason we haven't seen it was because of what Trump did yesterday. The problem is that doesn't fix the plumbing. It just maybe gives it more time.
Let me, and I'm guessing Trump didn't physically say, I needed to avoid the sort of the recession or depression. I'm guessing that's everybody else saying that, because that doesn't sound like Trump speaking. But
no, this was Trump saying he was okay if there was going to be a recession. I just didn't want there to be a depression. That was actually Trump saying
He's actually saying this pause, because I saw, God, I can't remember his name. I think it's Steve Ecker. He's one of those big, billionaire economist guys. He was telling Trump weeks ago that what was going to happen and why he needed to stop doing the tariffs the way he was doing it. But for Trump to actually say, I did this yesterday to avoid a recession, I mean,
they didn't say recession, depression.
Well, okay.
He was okay with a recession. He's okay with
how
recession.
Scary that is for him to actually be saying that. Listen, one choice on a 90-day halt on a tariff, if that's the difference between depression or no depression, you know how scary that is, that one man can just sit there and say, well, if I decide to put the tariffs in, I'm just going to drive this world into depression. To me, Joe, that's just not honest about the situation. If there's a depression built into this monetary system, one tariff choice isn't going to set it over. Once again, this is putting Trump in a position to take the blame if some really bad economic stuff happens. It's lunacy. If we're going to have a recession, we're going to have a recession, Joe. If we're going to have a depression, we're going to have a depression. One choice about 90 days waiting on tariffs isn't going to change the entirety of the world economy. So, yeah, look at the Dow down another, whatever you said, 1,200 points at the moment. Who knows what moment it's going to be down or up more. But it's here. This is here. I was talking to Joe at the beginning of before we get on the air, we do our huddle before we break the huddle and come on the air. And these up and down days, that 2,900 points that the Dow went up, this sure looks like COVID. This is almost the exact time frame is when all of these things were happening. It was more in March in 2020. We had a shutdown and a pandemic to cause 2,200 points down, 2,900 points up, 1,600 points down, and the volatility of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday was remarkable, Joe. So whatever bad stuff's going to happen, it ain't going to be a Trump decision that's going to solve it, Joe. It's going to happen. You were alluding to that before I jumped in. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Gold is a leading indicator of the future, especially of inflation, and gold just won't stop. What's this inflation we're going to be hitting, Joe? Is it happening? Things are happening so fast. We're going to see this inflation this year. Are we seeing it this summer? Are people going to be able to travel nowhere, have no fun, barely pay the bills? Are all these late credit card payments and mortgage payments and car payments? Is it going to come to a head very suddenly this summer, Joe? It looks ugly, and I don't believe that Trump pulled us out of a depression. We're either going to have it or we're not, Joe. That's how I see it.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'll disagree a little bit. I think Trump gave us a little more time. We were on, call it what you want, the runaway train, right? We were we see the cliff, and we got the accelerator fully pressed. Donald Trump didn't hit the brake, but we slowed down. Okay. We went from going 120 miles an hour over the cliff. We're now at probably 85 miles an hour, right? So we've slowed it down. We'll have to see how the rest of this plays out.
I have a question. Do you think Jeff Bezos prompted this decision yesterday? Because remember, when Trump got his inauguration, he's been elected, and he has what I call the peanut gallery. He has 13 billionaires in his cabinet. This man has 13 billionaires in his cabinet. Is he working in unison that, hey, this is where things have to go, and we'll try to work together? So when Amazon started saying, well, we're just not going to ship your stuff, is that what prompted this? One of the guys on your team is like, okay, Donald, this is a little too much. We got to pull back right now. You're going to destroy Amazon. I mean, is this where we're headed?
I think it started first with the bond market. When it breached 4.5, there was trouble. Remember, Donald Trump put out a tweet, be cool. Everything, he kind of alluded to something was coming. And then I think when you started seeing companies like Amazon canceling shipments, I think that was the final straw, right? That right. was the straw, but it really started before the markets even opened yesterday with the Treasury markets. And I think this was just, hey, these companies had to do what they had to do, right, to make sure things were going to go in the right direction. When we get back, we did have inflation data and jobless claims data, but now I've got an update on the House, the big, beautiful bill. We'll talk about all of that when we get back. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Thursday. The Dow is down 1,300 points now. The S&P down 215. The Nasdaq's down over 800 points. Gold's up 88 and change here to $3,173 right now. And Jason, TV gold, as I like to call it, 31.83, up 103. TV silver 31.20 right now. $20 gold pieces, guys. Listen, they're $3,395. That's just what it is. And guess what? It's cheap. It is. When we're sitting here, we're looking at what is coming out today about what happened yesterday and why it happened. Hey, we're going for a recession. We weren't going for the depression. That sounds great. That wasn't it. Wasn't it? I mean, it's true, but that wasn't it. The Treasury markets broke. They're not going to say it. Why do I get a funny feeling? A Freedom of Information Act years from now, because I'm sure the Fed will, we're supposed to know 2 years from now. I'm sure the Fed will go to the courts and we'll find out, I don't know, in 2035. Oh, yeah, well, we threw a couple trillion in there to kind of smooth it over. Wouldn't surprise me in the least. Understand that, again, this is a debt market. And it's all predicated on being able to what? Roll the debt over. You got to be able to keep rolling it over. Well, the bigger it gets, the harder it gets. Remember, we're supposed to grow our way out. Right? That's supposed to be the solution. And guess what? Everyone's like, well, we're not growing. The question is, how bad are we slowing? Right? Big problem. So let me give you the two jobs data points that came out today. Jobless claims. Same as they always are. 223,000. I mean, just stick a pin in it, right? Apparently, I don't know. Maybe these people aren't getting fired. Who knows? Outside of that, continuing claims above 1.9 million and rising slightly. When you get above 2 million, then it starts to get a little more painful, but nothing, right? Nothing to worry about. We had inflation data out today. You know what's so funny? No one even cared. The headline number said that it fell by 0.1% month over month. And year over year, 2.4%. Remember now, they still had one more. They got one more low number after this report, and then the year over year numbers will shoot up. However, the core was up more, or cooler than expected, up a tenth, but 2.8% year over year on the core. It was mostly energy. Big drop everywhere but Arizona. Dropping gas prices, energy prices. Gas down 6.3, energy down 2.4. Food up 0.4. Food home index was 0.4. Away from home up 0.5. So the food part's still a problem. Shelter, I guess a little bit of good news. Up 0.2%. Education up 0.4. Personal care up 1%. New vehicles was only up 0.1. We know that's going away now with the tariffs. Airfares was another one that also declined. So those were the numbers there, Jason. I just wanted to get that out there. And again, I don't think really any effect at all because of what happened yesterday in the markets and predominantly in the Treasury markets. Speaker Johnson, boy, was there a little meeting. So the Republicans, right, they didn't have the votes all the way up through yesterday. This morning in the Senate, they've gotten it done 216 to 214 on the big bill. Now, they say they're going to reduce the deficit by $1.5 trillion. Actually, it doesn't. But they're going to pretend that the tax cuts, Jason, were always going to be extended. So, obviously, by extending the tax, the deficit actually goes way up with this bill. But that's how they were able to tell you that. Unfortunately, Jason, I don't know that it really matters too much because now it has to go to the House. But this would extend the tax cuts. Unfortunately, the House is going to be, or the Senate is going to be a much bigger problem. The Senate also wants to account for the tax cuts in President's first term as currency policy baseline, which means, Jason, by extending these tax cuts, they can pretend that they weren't adding to the deficit. So it's a nice trick. Unfortunately, the deficit doesn't care. Listen, you can say any number you want. The deficit will still be the deficit.
Well, to reduce the deficit, obviously, you need one of those two things to go in the right direction. You can't make one worse and make another one better. And that's the whole thing with the tariffs. You know, if you lower the taxes, then you need to bring in more revenue to balance it right. But if we go into a recessionary type situation, it sounds like Trump just said we're having a recession. From what you just said, it sounds like we're heading for a recession. And that was Trump's nice way of saying, well, I stopped the depression by making it a recession. So did he just say we're having a recession? Isn't that usually the thing you say and the markets go crazy? So
he said that he was willing to take pain, and if that meant a recession.
So how do you make up the revenue on the tax reduction side if you're the government and you so-called need to make a certain here? And here's the thing: I wish we would talk about more, which is it doesn't matter if the deficit gets bigger because we know what will happen. Print, right, Joe? We can have a deficit that's $3 trillion. Print it up, put it out there, and get that fat government paid for.
Is 3,200 happening today? It just might. 9510592. The Dow now nearly 1,400 points. The 10-year note 436 and change. So Jason keeps going here. I think it'll probably keep rising here until this auction comes here in a couple of hours. That's going to be a big deal. Gold just continues to go here, up 108 on TV. But spot price right now, $3,178. $3,178. TV gold $3,188. $20 gold pieces $3,395. And again, we're going to sit here and talk about, okay, probably, $3,000 gold is a thing of the past here. Gold looks very, very, even the big Wall Street sell-off, let's face it, gold sold off for a few days.
Done.
And then said, right? Why? Because everyone was like, because we want it. We have to have it. Why do we have to have it? Because it's the only thing that works when the debt system stops working. And look at even crypto. Crypto's getting down 3,000 points again, or I don't know, points, dollars. I don't know what crypto is, but back at 79,000. And it's following Wall Street, Jason, which is something I thought most people said, oh, that's not how it's supposed to work. Kind of feels like it, at least for right now anyway. They seem to be one in the same. And, the House, the spending bill, I know that was something that Treasury Secretary Bissett was talking about. They want this thing badly, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't fix anything. And I'm disappointed that, we have, 10 or 11 people in the House that say they're true fiscal conservatives. This isn't it. Now, did they get scared into it? I think so, right? And I think they realize the situation here, Jason, and it's really simple. I think we figured out, how much debt is too much. Right? Some people, let's face it, go back to the 80s. A lot of people thought $1 trillion was going to be too much. Oh, $5 trillion, that's going to be too much. Hell, we don't even know where we are. Right? We know, listen, I already know we're over 37. But, we're in this emergency measure nonsense. I think what they're seeing here is, if they don't get these tax cuts passed, the revenue shortfalls are going to be even worse as these companies continue to get hammered here. And the defense, by the way, they're going to spend $1 trillion. I don't know if people saw this. The defense budget now is going to go over $1 trillion. So, Jason, the war drums keep beating, and I think they beat harder as there's more fiscal pain.
I said for a while, I believe they're going to get these tax cuts put in place. It fits with the tariff situation, Joe. It fits together with the dynamic that's being put into place. So we'll see. I like the fact that you talked about Mike Johnson going into a secret meeting again. It's him in meetings, right? Watch out when Mike Johnson goes into a meeting, he might do a 180 on whatever he's talking about.
Well, they didn't have the votes, and lo and behold, miraculously today, they have a little sit-down, and hey, we've got the vote. Now, it still has to go to the Senate, and I'm anticipating there are going to be some major give-backs to get the votes that are going to be needed there. I don't know. I'm at a loss for a lot of the things that I've seen over the last few days. I got a lot of clarification over the last few days. It really did. We were on the precipice of another major bond tantrum. I think the bond vigilantes are out. There's blood in the water. I think the blood in the water is going to stay until the Federal Reserve announces quantitative easing's back. I'm going to put $3,500 gold firmly on the table now because I believe that this is what Wall Street, the Trump administration, everybody now up in Congress is being told, you guys got to get some kind of budget passed. You got to give away a bunch of money. And the central bank, I think, Jason, we're going to need quantitative easing, and we're going to need it soon. And I think they want to get this budget done as quickly as possible before essentially the government is forced into a situation where, wait a minute, how can you increase spending by hundreds of billions of dollars a year? Well, the Fed's trying to do quantitative easing to save the bond market. So I think the rush is, we got to get this done first, and then the Fed can do quantitative easing. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason on this Thursday. Gold at new all-time record highs. We're on the precipice here of $3,200. But that is really just the beginning here. The Dow has given back half of its gains, down 1,400 points in change right now from yesterday, as Donald Trump has clarified the tariffs on China now 145%. We haven't heard from China yet. We could have $3,300 gold tomorrow if China comes out and matches. In other words, China says, okay, you did 40 more percent. We're going to tack on 40 more percent. That has been the goal. I don't know. I hope not, but it very well could be. Don't forget, very important auction today. We'll see how it goes. 437 in change. So now, yesterday, the bond market had a tantrum that led to them easing up on some of these tariffs that got the Dow a little bit excited. But, yeah, see, right now, TV gold's up $108, $31.87. So that puts spot $31.78, $31.77, something like that. $20 gold pieces, $33.95. And I know you're like, man, yesterday they were $31.75. But I told you yesterday, that was a deal and a half. Then gold goes up like $110. I mean, this is, how much are you going to wait and pay more for? This is why, Bank of America is already saying 35. Goldman's saying, hey, don't count out $4,500 gold. Don't count it out. Don't count it out. I'm going to tell you right now, they are desperate to get this bill passed before, I am now convinced, quantitative easing is coming back. The Federal Reserve is going to have to step up to service this. That don't be fooled either by, we're going to save $1.5 trillion over 10 years with this new bill. That's pretending. That's just pretending that the tax cuts weren't supposed to end. So here's what it actually does. At about $500 billion, you heard me right, every year. So all of us, Jason, this puts $3 trillion on the clock now as a debt level possible this year.
I saw audio yesterday. I think it was after Trump was elected, but before he took office, and talked about the tariffs he's going to put in place. And he specifically said, Joe, that this is to make the dollar stronger and make we're going to make other countries use the dollar. So it is all about the dollar, which means it is going to be quantitative easing. They're getting other countries to agree to take on more dollars. That's what this is. It's going to be all about the dollars. Joe is right. There's going to be quantitative easing, and they're going to try to, Joe said, back in the day, decades ago, $1 trillion. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? The number trillion, when Reagan hit the first trillion on the debt, it was so scary. It won't be too long from now, Joe. We'll be talking quadrillions. If people are going to keep following this garbage, you better buy some gold, because at a quadrillion, you can have gold at like $100,000, Joe.
Yeah, well, it just may be. 800-951-0592.